Well, we are on your side this morning. This is National Consumer Protection Week. You heard the phrase, knowledge is power, and that is definitely the case when it comes to spotting scams.
Here to tell us more is Jane Margison from AARP Maine. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here, Jane.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So first, how big of a problem is this in Maine when it comes to scams?
It's huge, unfortunately. Scammers are relentless and they are so creative, and unfortunately their evil practices have really taken hold in a whole new way since the pandemic. We've seen many, many different scams just balloon over the last couple of years.
And no matter what kind of scam it is, it's almost like they go to a school to learn how to do it because they're so good at it, right?
They are. They're tremendously good at it. And that's really what we want to try to teach people, is any of us could fall victim to being scammed. It's just a fact. Probably all of us sitting here have gotten many texts and emails and phone calls. I mean, when I say it's relentless, it really is.
Are there certain types of scams that are more prevalent affecting Mainers specifically?
I wouldn't say in Maine specifically, although there are things like we do see a lot of door-to-door scams, and we certainly see the romance scams have been huge across the country, so that's definitely one we should talk about.
Yeah, and tell us some of the red flags to look out for when it comes to a scam, whether it's somebody knocking at your door, somebody making a phone call, somebody texting you.
Well, the thing is, one thing to spot is, how does it make you feel? Did it make you feel uncomfortable? Because it probably should. If somebody calls you out of the blue and pretends they're from the IRS and says you owe all these back taxes and you're going to be arrested or you're going to be fined, they're all designed, every scam is designed to induce an emotional response. How does it make you feel? Do you feel frightened? Do you feel like, you know, we've got scams with people pretending to be someone's grandchild and saying they're in trouble and you need to send money. Or you've won the lottery and now you're elated because you think you've suddenly won millions of dollars. But all of it is designed to kind of make you have that emotional response. Scammers call that getting you under the ether. They actually want you in this kind of state of mind where you're not even thinking that something might be a scam. You're simply reacting to what they're saying. So that ether state is a very dangerous place to be. So the best thing you can do is disengage from whatever that contact is and verify the information. There's always a way to stop and verify.
Do you feel like not only are scammers getting smarter and always kind of thinking one step ahead, but technology is making their job easier and kind of, you know, scarily like more creative when you talk about voice changing and things like that?
Exactly right. And, you know, just to give you an example, in 2019, the Federal Trade Commission reported that in Maine, there was about close to 4 million in losses that were reported. Now remember, most of these crimes go underreported. But by the time we get to 2023, that number had gone by something like 17 million. So we went up by over 5 times. What happened in between that time? The pandemic, which isolated all of us, but it also changed our habits. A lot more online shopping, a lot more online banking, a lot of, you know, packages being delivered, all kinds of things that really changed our habits. But most of those habits now are exactly that. So we're still doing a lot more of that, and so those types of crimes have really gone up.
Why is it important to have a dedicated week to bring this to light?
That is from the Federal Trade Commission, and they felt that this was a really important time. The first week of March is Consumer Protection Week, and it's a great way to highlight these scams and to make sure that people understand that through taking simple steps, they can actually be great fraud fighters instead of the next victim.
Let's talk about your Fraud Watch Network, why that is such an important resource for people to check out.
Oh, it is. The AARP Fraud Watch Network, it's a nationwide resource for anyone of any age, whether or not you're an AARP member. And in addition to some great resources, I have with me here our Watchdog Alert Handbook. This is chock full of information about common scams we see, how to spot the red flags, and simple steps you can take, including things like shredding your sensitive materials and making sure that you are checking your credit card statements and your bank statements every single month, literally line by line, because if you see something suspicious, you want to report that right away. But the other thing that the Fraud Watch Network has from AARP is a wonderful helpline. It's a toll-free number. Anyone can call it, no matter your age, as I said, no matter whether you're an AARP member or not. And you will find there an experienced volunteer who can answer your questions. If you think you've been scammed or you know you've been scammed, they will tell you what to do and find all the ways to help you locally. And it's free of charge and it's free of judgment. Nobody's going to blame you. It's not your fault. These are crimes.
Yeah, not just the brochures, not just a phone number, but also you guys have webinars and also podcasts as well.
We do. And right here in Maine, we have a whole team of volunteers who deliver scam presentations, scam awareness presentations that will help you understand why it's important to freeze your credit report, how to spot romance scams, how to deal with tech support scams, all of them. But they will give presentations virtually or in person to groups large or small. You can just go to our website at aarp.org/ME and you'll find out all about it. We also have wonderful volunteers who do a monthly Zoom call, and it's actually coming up right next week. It's the second Thursday of the month, so it'll be on the 13th. And it's just a great place for people to come and to safely talk about experience they've had or have their questions answered, and our focus this month is travel scams.
What's your #1 piece of advice for viewers watching right now when it comes to avoiding any type of scam?
I would say just understand how these scams work a little bit and know that it's okay to say no. Disconnect from that phone call, get off of that email string, and always, always verify the information. There's always a way. If in the example we gave earlier about the IRS scams, call the IRS yourself and find out, do you really owe back taxes? They'll tell you what to do, and if you do owe something, we'll figure it out. But they're not going to be calling you out of the blue and telling you you're about to be arrested or fined.
Yeah, that's like me. I got a text from the United States Postal Service that said I had a package. I'm like, oh, maybe I do, from Amazon or something. Click on here, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. And I stopped by the post office to do something else and asked him, and the guy right away, scam, delete it. I'm like, all right, sounds good.
Exactly. Don't click on anything from someone you don't recognize. And usually you can spot little things that are slightly wrong with those text messages or the emails. But as we've said at the beginning, scammers are really good at what they do, and they're very good at disguising their tricks of the trade. But you can be a great fraud fighter.
Yeah, and report it, exactly.
Yes.
Very empowering to be able to be part of that. Remind everyone of the website one more time.
Absolutely. So the Fraud Watch Network is aarp.org/fraudwatchnetwork. At our website right here in Maine, it's aarp.org/ME.
All right.
Good information. Also, you can watch it all the time on Fox 23. Our I-team always looking into scams.
Yes. All right, Jane, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.